And look at how cute they are. These are the reasons everybody wants a puppy, because this is how they are. And they're so cute that they really, really, really are adorable. God, I want one. But it's like before you know it, next you have to walk it, and then you turn into. So anyway, you get the point of where this is going. Hey, but let me give you the full story. And I actually thought about this and took the research a little further of what you may have heard in the news. What you have heard in the news, in case you haven't heard of the news, you will hear it now. Scientists at the labs of Colossus have recreated a extinct species of the dire wolf. They created 3 of them, and they're, as you can see, adorable. 2 brothers and 1 sister, Khaleesi, and she was born a little later. But the 2 brothers were born 5 months ago. Don't know why we haven't heard about it now, but there's a lot to this that's actually really interesting and absolutely and utterly terrifying. First of all, the investor in the program, but we'll get to that in a second. These animals were created by harvesting 15% of the original dire wolf DNA. As you know, this was extinct 13,000 years ago, and they lived for tens of thousands of years. I think the oldest dire wolf found was 90,000 years. Anyway, up in the La Brea tar pits, they found quite a few of these fossilized, and it took quite a while to find enough genome. You need 15% of the genome to create the full genome of this animal. We'll get to that, why that's important in a minute. Then they mixed it with gray wolf DNA, which is I think 97% close to a dire wolf. And they created one, tweaking some DNA here and there. AI was, of course, involved. And now we have these 3 apex predators from the Jurassic age. And that's just awesome, because next we know. And they have many more plans for other things, which is just as interesting. But what can we do with this technology? And before you get any ideas that you have to go to petting zoo and say hi to these 3, you're not. They're keeping them very safe, very far away from anybody. They haven't even told or disclosed where this huge facility is. They have many hundreds, or they have a lot of acreage that these 3 wolves can now run around and grow and be observed. And they're keeping it very, very secret. Nobody wants some Middle Eastern millionaire to come in and want to buy one or steal one for his private zoo or some insanity. However, when have we heard before that, well, we made these extinct animals and they're in this enclosure and they're perfectly safe? And then next we hear is, but I'm sure that won't be the case now with these or the species they're going to make. Anyway, this is groundbreaking technology. And you could see with all the technology and re-engineering and engineering of genomes, you could see a lot of applications for this. For instance, China is re-engineering people's genes to make them smarter and tougher and faster. This almost sounds like gain-of-function research. Who heard that before? Gain-of-function research. That turned out really well for the world, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm sure that won't be the case. I'm sure we, at no point in time, will have little scientists with little round glasses and German accent and come out and tell you all, this is perfectly safe. We have them all under control. It will be fine. We can control them. And next you hear is who thought this was a brilliant idea to really invest in this technology to bring back extinct animals. Well, the CIA, of course, because they have so many brilliant ideas on top of their, last 70 color revolutions and civil wars and all the other weird things. I don't know that maybe the CIA ran out of interesting things to do or stupid things to do, as it mostly is. But anyway, the CIA, of course, brought up a statement of why they were interested in this particular technology. Gain of function keeps ringing in my head. I don't know why. But as they put out a statement which said synthetic biology for covert ops, engineering animals, or engineering ancient species for military use. What could possibly go wrong with that? They said that by backing Colossus, the CIA will gain insight into this process and be in control of it, rivaling big tech because it might have applications, of course, tech, food security, land use, and cultural narratives. If de-extinction scales, which means a lot more de-extinction will take place. Um, yeah, that sounds perfectly safe because we all know that these places are run by level-headed people. We're all going to die anyway. That's what the CIA said, and they're not wrong. There's a technology we should investigate and see how it works. And I, for one, can't wait to see Jurassic Park, the reality show. It's like, so what else are they going to do besides, because you all know where this is going to go. Set former Germanic accent little scientists are going to show up and go like, oh, well, he made this wolf. This is awesome. Now he must make a T-Rex fly. I'm sure it will be safe and it will be good for the ecosystem. What could possibly go wrong? They've also thought they're going to try to make the woolly mammoth because they can, and the saber-toothed tiger, because God knows the regular tiger isn't like fierce enough. There's also talk of a Jurassic bear, which is 3 times the size of a grizzly, which is wonderful, non-temperamental animals that are not dangerous to people at all. So we really, like, Jesus. Okay, so now that I have you all panicked because you're all expecting it any moment, now you're going to wake up too. So let's just back up a little bit and let me give you a reason that why you actually might be able to sleep tonight before somebody digs up Stalin, Lenin, and Hitler and have a rematch of World War II. It sounds kind of good. And we all know the moment they can make a T-Rex, they will. Not even, this is not hands, but they will. Absolutely, they will. They're not going to go, oh, I'm going to spend $100 billion on making this peaceful plesiosaur. Yes. He can rival cows. He may taste good. Like, no, they're not. They're going to find something with gigantic teeth that is insanely dangerous, and they're going to make one. And then they're going to tweak it so it can run recon out in the outer fields. They actually said that they're going to make these animals so they can go where they can do engineering these extinct animals so they can go on patrol and do surveillance in places where the drones can't go. Because, when are they going to dig up the Beowulf? Maybe they're going to make a Fenris for me. Then we'll really be in trouble. But anyway, okay, now calm down. Before we all have slight heart attacks and we start loading up on 50 cal plus, how did this actually start and where's it actually going? Let's just calm down for a minute. It all started in 2005 with Mary Schweitzer, a paleontologist. She found soft tissue, and they are looking into in what looked like blood vessels and cells from a 68 million year old T-Rex femur. Like I said, they're looking at it. They're trying, but calm down now. The studies have later identified the proteins, collagen, microstructures. It might be the DNA of a T-Rex. Now you're always like, well, we don't know what it is, so we have to breed one to find out. Oh my God. What was it that lunatic said in Congress? We have to pass the bill to see what's in it. Well, we found some DNA. Let's stick it in something and give it birth and see what happens. I have any number of horror films that started that way. Anyway, they're still working on this in 2012, and they used antibodies in strains and suggested that, it probably could be, maybe it couldn't, but they can't confirm this was the DNA of a T-Rex because of contamination and degradation. So they argue it is too fragmented to reconstruct a full genome of a T-Rex. So we have the fossils, we have organic remnants, but we don't have any T-Rex DNA. So we cannot actually yet make a T-Rex DNA yet. So calm down. I'm sure they'll find DNA of some other insanely dangerous apex predator that died a million years ago, and then they're going to recreate that, and then they're going to get special powers and laser eyes or something, and we'll all die. But anyway, as it is right now, scientists, they are very clear that they don't have a full genome for a T-Rex. They're nowhere near piecing one together, only fragments. So they don't have the DNA. That's one thing. And then there's another problem is the T-Rex is somewhat related to a chicken. That'll give farmers nightmares to wait one day the chickens will devolve into T-Rexes. But some of them evolved into birds. Now, the problem is, even if you found the DNA of a T-Rex, what are you going to marry it to? A dire wolf and a gray wolf are fairly related. They're fairly similar. However, you're going to have to find some sort of a surrogate. You can't shove T-Rex DNA into an ostrich. I would imagine it would explode, or an emu. They're related very, very distantly genetically, but still too far. And again, physically, how are you going to integrate a T-Rex egg into something like that? They'll just, no. We don't have any living species that match that size or physiology in order to give birth to a T-Rex baby. However, we also know that they're making synthetic meat and all this crazy thing. So they're probably going to find a way around that if they find the DNA. I'm thinking ahead. What smarter people than I would think. Gene editing, like CRISPR, can tweak genes, but recreate a full gene for a T-Rex from a bird, they would have to literally reverse millions of years of evolution, including then adding teeth and nails and arms to a chicken DNA. We don't know what that would be. It's almost impossible to see how you could create that. And except now you'll have an insanely dangerous chicken running around trying to murder people, is what I'm guessing. So they can create dinosaurs, probably, or dinosaur-like creatures, probably estimated by scientists in 50 years to 100 years, which means I will not be eaten by a T-Rex. But if I had grandchildren, well, good luck. It's now. So, anyway, if they use whatever genetic editing comes up and more advanced, but it would be like a distant facsimile, not an actual T-Rex, which is probably a good thing, because if you came up with an actual T-Rex, some German scientist would say, well, I don't think it wings. Flying would be good for it. But anyway, it's kind of the best guess. We're probably going to be safe from T-Rexes. So basically, the American homeless problem will not be solved by roaming bands of T-Rex chasing them down the main street, which, I guess that would solve the problem. However, of course, if the dire wolf and the CIA give it a little extra boost and a little, we're getting a little extra oomph here, then we may all be hunted down by, dire wolves. But at least they're cute until they eat you. So, Anyway, dinosaurs far off, we're probably going to be fine. The bear that's 3 times bigger than a grizzly, but it does get dumber than that, because what they are planning on doing, they're going to do the woolly mammoth because they can around 2028 via elephant hybrids. So they could, woolly mammoth, elephant, okay, probably. They're going to do that. So we're probably in not so far from now, we're going to see the woolly mammoth wander around again. Don't know why. I don't know. My instinct, my first question is, I wonder how it tastes. Gordon Ramsay, what do you got on that one? Here's a steak for you. Do you have a bigger frying pan? They're also going to try to do the Tasmanian tiger. That also seems to be like the saber-tooth tiger is very, very large, and that would eat the woolly mammoth. Yeah, that's a great idea. It could probably do recon for the CIA or the military. Great. Now, the dumb thing, they're going to recreate the dodo. We're going to spend millions of dollars recreating a suicidal species. Although I did see on a cartoon in American Dad that they actually recreated the dodo and it was suicidal. So why the hell not? Anyway, just want to give you an update so you can now sleep safely at night. That there will not be colossal dinosaurs chasing you down the street. Maybe large wolves or prehistoric tigers, but no dinosaurs. It'll be perfectly fine. You're absolutely safe from, at least for now. But I think you should all pray to whatever God you believe in and any other deities to keep you safe from the CIA and what in God's name they're doing, because I kind of wish I worked there. You guys have a nice day, and maybe these roaming bands of dinosaurs can solve our roaming politician problem.